In male genital system, we have two seminal glands. Right now, I'm pointing at the left seminal gland of this model. As you can see, seminal gland sits posterior to the urinary bladder and anterior to the rectum. We have one prostate gland that sits exactly below the urinary bladder, and we have two bulbourethral glands that they're sitting lateral to the membranous urethra. Seminal glands and bulbourethral glands secrete alkaline secretion, and we need the alkaline secretion to neutralize the pH inside the male urethra and also the female genital tract to protect the sperms from acidity. Secretion of seminal glands would be 60% of the total volume of semen. Secretion from prostate gland would be 25% of the total volume of semen. And bulbourethral glands produce 15% of the total volume of semen. In the secretion of seminal glands, we find different type of molecules. For example, we find fructose, which is a monosaccharide used by sperms for ATP production. Also, seminal glands secrete prostaglandins. Prostaglandins stimulate sperm movement. Please keep in mind, during sexual intercourse, sperms are ejaculated inside the vaginal canal. After that, sperms must continue their journey to eventually get inside the fallopian tube. That's the preferred location to fertilize an ovum. So the prostaglandins that seminal glands secrete help sperms to swim and continue their journey and finally get to the final destination. Also, it's been shown that the prostaglandins released from seminal glands stimulate the muscle contraction in female genital tract, which that assists sperms in continuing their journey to get inside the fallopian tubes. From seminal glands, we also receive some clotting proteins. Please note the clotting proteins that seminal glands secrete are different than the clotting proteins that we find in blood. The clotting proteins that seminal glands secrete help semen to coagulate after ejaculation. That basically helps sperm and semen to stay inside the vaginal canal, to not be expelled outside of the vaginal canal, which that increases the chance of reproduction. And we know that each seminal gland secretes the seminal fluid through seminal duct, and we know the duct of seminal gland joins the ampulla of vas deferens. Sperms pass through the vas deferens. And when ampulla of vas deferens and the duct of seminal gland join together, we have ejaculatory duct which runs through the prostate gland and terminates at prostatic urethra. Here we're looking at a portion of the ejaculatory duct which brings secretion from seminal gland and also brings sperms that pass through the ductus deferens. And as you see, ejaculatory duct ends at prostatic urethra. Prostate gland has a slightly acidic secretion. The pH of the secretion of prostate gland is around 6.5. In the secretion of prostate gland, we can find citric acid, which is used by sperm for ATP production. Also, in the secretion of prostate gland, we find an antibiotic named seminalplasmin, which kills bacteria and protects sperms from bacteria. In the secretion of prostate gland, we also find acid phosphatase. However, we still don't know exactly what would be the function of acid phosphatase. And from prostate gland, we have release of different types of proteolytic enzymes. It is interesting that these enzymes can break down the clotting proteins that are released from seminal glands. It is important that the clotting proteins that seminal glands secrete help semen to coagulate to stay inside the vaginal canal and not be expelled. However, at some point, these clotting proteins must be broken down by the enzymes that prostate gland produces to free sperms so sperms can swim from vaginal canal toward cervical canal, then uterine cavity, and then eventually get inside the fallopian tubes. So that's the importance of the enzymes that prostate glands secrete. And some of those enzymes include pepsinogen, amylase, lysozyme, and an enzyme named prostate-specific antigen, PSA, and some other enzymes. Now, in this view, we can see one of the two bulbourethral glands sitting very close to the membranous urethra, We know that the duct of bulbourethral gland secrete the secretion of this gland into spongy urethra. In the secretion of bulbourethral gland, we find mostly mucus and buffers to neutralize the pH of male urethra and female genital tract, and mucus to lubricate the pathway that is used for ejaculation, also lubricate the penis during sexual intercourse. Before the actual ejaculation, sometimes it happens that when male is sexually excited and erection starts, 1 or 2 drops of the secretion of bulbourethral glands be released out. But we know that in the secretion of bulbourethral glands, we do not have any sperm. So mostly those couple of drops contain a large volume of mucus. So this was a summary of the male genital glands and some of their major secretions. And we know that semen would be the secretion of seminal glands, bulbourethral glands, and prostate gland. And please keep in mind that since seminal glands and bulbourethral glands secrete an alkaline secretion, and only prostate gland is the one that secretes a slightly acidic secretion, when we check the pH of semen, we see that the pH of semen is alkaline. It actually ranges between 7.2 to 7.7, which that's to protect the sperm, because sperm is a cell that is extremely sensitive to acidity. Hope you find this helpful.